Well, good evening, ladies. Happy Thursday. I hope you are doing well and having a great week. I actually have been a little under the weather, and so please forgive me. My voice probably sounds a little crazy, and my brain might be off a little bit, so I apologize. But I wanted to get on here and show you the workshop, the Soda Pop workshop, so you can understand what it all entails and what's going on and all the fun things. If you saw earlier today, I posted about an hour ago that Stampin' Up! Is releasing all of the Close to My Heart product so that anyone across the board can purchase it. Up until now, it has only been for previous customers or makers with Close to My Heart, and so that allowed us a little bit more time to be able to get it before it completely went out of stock, although as you know, many items already have. And so I only tell you that to say, if you're looking to do this with me, and I hope that you are, and I know several of you are, you'll want to go ahead and get your supplies as soon as possible, because I am sure that we are going to be seeing the supplies go pretty quickly. So just something to kind of consider and to know what's going on. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to show you a little bit of the ins and outs of this workshop. And so you would understand kind of like what we're going to be working on, what we're doing, all of those things. So again, thank you for hopping on and joining me tonight. Hopefully we'll keep this short and sweet, and you can see a little bit of what's exactly going on and what we're going to be doing. So this is, and I don't really have these in any specific order, but I'm going to try and show you. I've kind of got it zoomed out. In fact, I'm going to try and zoom out just a little bit more. There we go. I've kind of got the screen zoomed out so that you can see maybe a little bit more than normal. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And you can see all the crazy setup on my desk. But so this is one layout. This is a fun layout that's created out of some of our how-to books. I love just the little angles that we have here. This is not a difficult layout at all, but what I did want to point out is that it does use some stamping on it, very minimally, but it does have some stamping on it, and then you can see it also has our gems, has different things. Now, for the stamping, I want, if you still have a lot of your Close to My Heart supplies, I want you to still be able to use them. That is my goal. And so for these, I wanted you to see that I use the Splash of Color Essentials, and I just use some of these down here. You can use any stamp set that has something like this in it. If you don't have a stamp set that has something like that in there, then the Latte Love has this little one that's really, really cute that looks like the little splatter or ink blot or whatever. So you could use this one across the board as well. And same thing here, you could kind of have those go all up around it and really add a lot more color. So when you're looking at your stamp sets, kind of try and look outside the box a little bit. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about how much you're actually able to use these and kind of see where it is. But if you do have the Splash of Color, this is a great set that I use all the time for backgrounds. I like to have my little splashes, and but I like to control them. So I like the detail of having that little swish behind it, but I want to make sure that I'm putting it exactly where I want it, right? So that's for this first layout. And this does use Lagoon ink. So I'm going to tell you what the Close to My Heart colors are. I know many of you still have the Lagoon ink. But if you don't, and you're trying to find a good match with the Stampin' Up! Colors, Coastal Cabana or Summer Splash might kind of work. Either one of those I think would work well. And these are two-step step stamps, so meaning this is like second generation ink. I stamped off on a scratch piece of paper, and then I stamped here to get that lighter look. So you have a little bit of wiggle room when you're creating like that. All right, so here is this next layout. Now, and I don't have these in any particular order, but what I did want to show you is this is our interactive layout. So I don't always do an interactive layout, but this one does have that. And so you can see, I'll kind of take you around here. You can see here where we've got some of the gems, all the different papers and colors. I did use, and I don't know if you can see it really well or not, but this is some of the pearl paper from Close to My Heart that I had in my stash. I absolutely loved it. It gives it a little bit of more of an iridescent look, almost makes it look like maybe the string from the balloons, which is one of the reasons why I liked it. But I really felt like it was good to take this up just another small level. It's just a very small strip. So if you have the pearl paper, I highly recommend you use the pearl paper. If not, then you could use some glitter paper, shimmer trim, any of that in any of the colors. I just went with white again to bring out the white here. And this is the linen cardstock that we used in the background. And you could use linen from them. You could also use maybe like a smoky slate. Anything pretty neutral. Now there is white in here, so I was trying to do, you know, something similar, but I didn't want to do too much white because this is my main background. So, but just kind of keep that in mind. You absolutely can. There's lots of color here. If you did keep that with white, that would be great, and maybe even add some more splashes or splatters behind, kind of to mimic this look that you're seeing right here. So that's just something for you to kind of see. And so here with this layout, like I said, this is our interactive layout. And so this is where you're going to be literally pulling this out. It's going to flip open and you're going to have more room to be able to put more photos. Hello, Mary Lee. Welcome, welcome. Here's where you have more room to put more photos, and I'm going to show you the technique on doing that. We're going to do that on both spots, and then we're also going to change our page protector so that it can be used within your page protector. Again, this is where you could either handwrite, you know, the word pull, or you could bring in some of your previous stamp sets. This is an oldie but a goodie from Close to My Heart, just a little something occasions, and we're just going to, you know, use part of that stamp. But if you wanted to, you could handwrite it. You could just put a little bit of ribbon, something like that, so it shows that it's just like a pull area. You don't have to actually have the word pull on there. But so something that you could just be playing around with, and that's something simple that you could use there. Something I did want to show you too, and we're going to see it in another layout as well, is for these I did use the deckled circle dies, and I really, really like these. To me, this is kind of one of those core dies that you're going to go back to again and again. So even though you only see it a little bit here and you are going to see it in another layout, look at all of the dies that are included in this, and I love the fact that they're speckled, so they almost look like they're torn. But they still have that round ring that you're going to be able to get. So you're going to get the full, you know, circle-ish, but it's going to have that little torn look. And so for some of our papers that don't really have a straight edge, or for something like this that kind of looks like it has that splatter, to me, these deckled circles are perfect, and they come in circles and in rectangles, and I love them. I have both. You're gonna see me use these a lot. So if you're needing something like that, or if these are calling to you, trust me, you're gonna be using a lot of these if you should like. So just something to kind of consider. All right, so then now we're on to layout number 3, and I'm still waiting on one more photo, so forgive me on this one. This one's fairly simple. It does have some print and cut from the Cricut. So if you don't do the print and cuts with a Cricut, or you don't use your Cricut a whole lot, that is something that you can purchase and get from me. Otherwise, there will be a file in the instructions with your workshop that you can just click on. It will take you to all the items that you're either going to need to cut out or print and cut. But that's what these are here. And so, and trust me, like, I love Kerrigan. I know y'all have seen her a ton lately. She is not my favorite child. I do like her a lot though. But she has had a lot going on this year. And so we have been celebrating her left and right. And I'm really proud of her for her accomplishments that she's made this year for sure. So, but that's what this layout is here. So again, lots of print and cut that we have. We're pulling in some of our stickers. I did use black as our cardstock base, so you could easily, hopefully, have some black in your stash and be able to pull that in. All right, so for this last layout, not anything super groundbreaking, but it is a fun layout. I love, this is kind of a silly layout. But I just had a lot of fun with it. And honestly, this wasn't the pictures that I was honestly planning on putting on here, but my family's always getting on to me that I don't incorporate photos with me. So I did. But here's where you're going to see those deckled circles. So here I kind of made a ring just by pulling in the circles and having them side by side, making sure I had enough in between it. So I used one in between. So I got a good little strip in between there, and I cut that out. I also did that here with the ballerina, and I just did a regular circle so that I would have that design here. Some of these here are going to be from our Cricut cuts again. This is with Ballerina ink. This is from the center of this one, so waste not, want not, right? We're going to be using all of the pieces that we have there, creating our own as well. And then again, we have this, which is also from the center here. And so I'm trying to pull in some of those elements across the board. And again, really playing on this paper in the background that kind of has that, that shine and design, I guess you could say there. So we are using the white gel pen. Now, Stampin' Up! Does not carry the white gel pen, but I know many of you have purchased that from me when we were with Close to My Heart. So hopefully you have that in your stash. If not, you might be able to, if you have white pigment ink and maybe have a stitched stamp set. We've had many of those. So there's lots of little things here you can do, but I did use the gel pen there and then also to outline my letters. I really like how that helps them pop up off the page, especially with the white background. I really thought that was just a fun look. And then this, I had a few more photos that I wanted to add of my crazy children whom I adore, and I cannot flip this or they will have a heart attack because they're just silly, silly photos. But I know that in a few years to look back at, they're going to laugh hysterically, but they would probably not be really happy if I showed these online right now, because you know what goes online is always online, right? And again, we just have more sparkle here, more splatter here in the background, this time using Ballerina ink. So we've used Lagoon, we used Ballerina, and even, I don't know if you can tell, it's very, very faint, but I did take just one of our blending brushes and a little bit of the Lagoon, and I just kind of went over it to pull in back behind this. It's very, very faint, but it helps so much so it doesn't look so stark white in the background. So that is a look again at our Soda Pop workshop. It's 4 double page layouts. I will show you one other thing real quick with this. So I'm all about preserving paper, especially now that some of this paper we can't get again with these colors. A lot of you have a lot of this in your stash, but if you're like me, knowing that we can't get it again, I tend to be a little bit more cautious. So what I did for this, the background, especially having a full sheet of sapphire that's going to be used for something, is I did what we call, I gutted it. And I cut out this piece here, and then this piece that I cut out is actually an area that I used to, and I cut up for several of my other parts of my layout. So again, I did not want to waste anything. I wanted that to happen. If you do not like that it's kind of not open in the back, I mean, it's solid. I put lots of ink or lots of adhesive there. But if you don't like that, if you have some old paper in your stash that you really don't like the color of, that's a great time to be able to just glue this on top of that. You're not going to see any of it anyway, but it is going to give you the sturdiness that you're used to. Although, again, I really don't feel like this isn't sturdy at all. So, Mary Lee, thank you. I'm glad that you like them. I had so much fun, and the most fun, too, is just being able to get pictures on most of these layouts, although, like I said, I'm still waiting on some. But I love being able to see our layouts come to life, and sometimes once I get created, I'm like, okay, good, done. And then I get my photos printed, and they somehow don't make it on here. So I was thrilled to be able to do that. But I think you guys are going to love, love, love this workshop. I think it's a lot of fun, lots of bright colors. And, you know, what's interesting about this is when we first look at this, if you're like me, I definitely see boy, right? But if you notice, I really didn't do a lot of boy photos on here. I did on this other one, but it was boy and girl. So you could absolutely use boy and girl. You don't have to be, able to, you know, just have one or the other. And this is how I was just able to bring in a little bit of the pink again to kind of have to do that. So, oh, let's not talk about the homeschooling thing. I don't think you want me crying online. Actually, I'm doing okay. Kerrigan has not left yet for school, but she will. She's just doing the discipleship program that J38 that Mabry and Landon did. So she'll be right down the street. But when our pastor had all the students come forward and their parents and all the teachers in the area so that he could pray over them, and I didn't go up there, I think he felt sorry for me. He looked at me and he goes, and if you're retired, ha, ha, ha. So that, I think, was his way of including me, because he knew that my heart was hurting a little. But it's good. I love seeing her grow up and be able to do the things that God's called her to. So I think this is good and be great. So anyway, everybody, just go on, like I said, get your soda pop paper before it is gone. I'm putting the last touches on all the full workshop kit, so I should have that together soon. If you need me to make the Cricut cuts for you, then please make sure that you Venmo me and let me know for sure what's going on so that I can make sure I get this kit to you and not something else. But otherwise, happy scrapping. Have a great night. Bye-bye.